I've got this idea for this girl who jumps. Mari Crumble Weebs. My name is Cole. His name is Mike. His name is Jay. We like anime, and this is episode 154. Is that right?
No, 55.
No, it should be 155. Yeah, my doc's wrong.
Yeah, he's wrong.
My doc's wrong.
Sorry, Cole. I forgot to update your teleprompter.
And on this week's episode, we are recording a podcast. Stop typing. We are reviewing the manga from Keiichi Arawi. Arawi. Yeah, we're reviewing City, the manga.
Someone
City.
out there's yelling right now. It's Arawi.
Well, that's fine. I'm gifted in other ways, as I say.
Jay probably
often.
knows what it actually is. Jay, what is it?
Does it really matter?
It does, though.
It does.
We have other things on our minds.
How do you say it, Jay?
Yeah.
Tell us.
Don't pass up a chance to actually us here.
I'm not gonna actually you.
But we're asking you to. Literally, we're begging for it.
We're sadistic.
Look, Mike's the one with the glasses. If anyone's actuallying someone, it's gonna be him.
He'll have a chance to, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll come up. But
this
is not the time.
Look, I'm way too tired to care about Japanese names right now. I'm gonna be real honest with you.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, are you?
Okay,
are you,
I think it might be Keiichi Arawi.
Arawi.
No, I think it's.
Did you put it into like Google Translate and had it read it to you?
I have no. Okay. I have no clue.
That's fine. It's fine. Anyway, if you could leave a like, subscribe. You know, just riveting conversation so far here at the start of an AniPro episode. We've also got a Discord. Why don't you come check it out? You know what? Let's just dive into this episode proper. Jay, you said you were tired.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you so sleepy, my boy?
I haven't spoken to either of you in. Cat's out of the bag. I haven't spoken to either of you in 2 weeks. It's been a long time since It's been
a much needed break. I mean, it's been a long time.
Wow. Jay, why are you so tired? Tell me how's it going?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was at work early this morning. Like actually,
define early. Define early.
I like that you unintentionally said actually. Continue.
It's baked into the tongue.
No. It was actually.
What time did you start work today, Jay?
It was actually early. I was at work at 10 to 8 this morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty early. Yeah.
I was the first one there. I'm the one who turned on all the lights and
that's always kind of
so.
That's kind of a cool feeling, and like as like a worker, like you're like, oh, they trust me.
Yeah.
With this place,
like I unlocked the door, walked in. It was really cool.
Was it like spooky in there walking in?
I've been told that place is haunted, so yes.
Okay,
I believe it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Like
spooky.
So, I guess it would still be kind of dark in there at 8:00. This because.
The sun was like
all that.
coming
sun's just
up.
peeking up,
just kind of like peeking out from around the corner.
That's the sad reality of where we live, is that like sun comes up at like 8 and goes down at like 4:30 these days. Like it's like dark at like 5.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't mind it though.
Canada.
I've become like, I've accepted the reality that I'm a vampire, and I like that the sun goes down early. Right now, I like that the sun goes down early. Ask me again in March, and I'll have a completely different opinion.
when full-on seasonal depression hits.
You know what, Cole? Daylight savings time is for the farmers, and you're one of them.
That's true.
You know what, though? That's so baloney.
True. That's a great take.
No, it's true. That is exactly what daylight savings time is for. But you know what? Like we have evolved to the point we have artificial lighting now. Like we do not need to fear the darkness. If the sun goes down an hour
if you
early,
played one Kingdom Hearts game, we need to fear the darkness and embrace the light.
I've played Kingdom Hearts. I know.
Well, that's crazy. You guys are crazy. I say abolish daylight savings time. That's weird that you guys are taking the stance that you want to keep it.
No,
very strange.
You
can't go back on this. You've made your bed.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. that feeling of like, oh, I get 1 extra hour of sleep. Like when that happens,
it's not worth it.
No,
it's a trick though.
It like you're technically right.
Mm-hmm.
Because
best
like
kind of right.
if we just kept it the way it was, then whatever. But like the idea that like the clock goes back an hour and there's like a justified reason to do it.
There is no justified reason.
Jay,
look, man, I like my sleep.
That is short term, looking forward into your future when you're going to be super tired, Jay, waking up an hour early.
But you're
Get
just
outta here with
borrowing from later in the year because you're going to have the complete opposite problem in spring.
Well, or if you're being optimistic, you're getting it back from the extra hour you lost earlier.
It still sucks. Either way.
It sucks when you go forward, but it feels good when you go back.
I mean, yeah, okay, it does. True. It does feel good when you go back. But it's not worth it, like Mike said.
Yeah, but we should at both times of the year, we should just go back.
Can I listen, Jay? Here's my reason. Yes, the sleep in is great, but in fall, we could literally save lives by not falling back.
All right, Mike's
I just
got
looked
statistics.
it up. I looked up a stat, and I knew this was a thing, and I wanted to make sure I had the right numbers here. The death ratio rises and falls with the change of time, and when we do the one where you wake up an hour early, there's about 10,000 more deaths than normal that week.
Yeah, and if you're a capitalist
in the
like
States.
me, your workers' productivity also goes down. It's just not worth it. Yeah. It's just not worth it all around.
Or you could be like me and
enjoy the extra hour.
Or be like me and be tired no matter what.
That's true. Well, that's just life, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's on me for going to bed at like 4 a.m. when I have to be up like 4 hours later.
That is on you.
That's you're correct. That is 100% on you.
I feel bad. Like I went to bed at I get up at 6:30 every morning, and I went to bed at 11, and I'm like, oh, I'm like a half hour past my bedtime. I'm gonna feel awful in the morning.
You're gonna be terrible.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I did feel terrible in the morning.
You're coming around to my side where like I have been for a couple of years now. Like if I'm not in bed at my bedtime, it's a bad day the next day. It's not good.
It's weird though. It's weird.
You get into a routine and it just works.
It's pure placebo. Mm-hmm. Pure placebo. I'll go to bed tonight at 1 a.m. and get up at 7:30.
You're
and
still
I'll be
staying
fine.
up till 1 a.m. as a 30-year-old man?
Yeah, Mike.
Mike, I'm genuinely convinced you just brainwashed yourself.
I think so. I think you did. That's not that late on a Friday. We record on Friday.
Yeah, I know. I do it every now and then, and I'm like, how am I doing this right now? This is weird. Yeah, for the listeners, I usually get up at 4 a.m. for work, so I cannot stay up till 1 a.m, or else I'll end up like Jay.
Dead.
Just so sleepy. But no, anyway. Honestly, like I mean, I have a baby now. I don't know what sleep is anymore. It's okay.
No, that is true. Anyway, that's enough about Jay. That was all about Jay, by the way. Mike, what's up with you? You went on a trip, I think.
I
haven't talked to you since your trip. Yeah.
It's funny. You should mention my trip that I went on. Wink, wink, nod, nod. We missed our flight, so we didn't go.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I know. I was purposely saving it for the pod, actually, a little bit. So here's the story. We woke up. It was an early flight. It was a 5 a.m. flight. Okay.
Ooh.
As I just said, I get up early, so that's not really the huge issue. Bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Just the way things worked out, we booked the flight on a smaller airline, one of the smaller budget airlines.
Which one?
Flair? No, I guess I'll call them out by name. Porter Airlines.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard of that airline in my life.
Jesus, anyway. What was it? Just like a twin prop? Like, we'll get you there, hopefully.
I don't know.
The pilot's got a leather jacket on.
Yeah. And like that little leather cap.
Yeah.
They have to
hold on.
They have to like, it's like a 3-seater. Yeah, they have to like.
They got a guy out there turning the prop by hand.
Yeah, he's got the transatlantic accent and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Yeah,
everyone's strapped in. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
It's like the. I'm gonna make an insane reference. It's like the plane from Asadora.
There you go. It's like the plane from the Wind Rises.
I was thinking of the one from Indiana Jones.
Or
the
Porco
one with
Rosso. Yeah.
the
That
prop
works
in
too.
the back.
Yeah. One last thing. The guy definitely took a pair of goggles and slapped them on before he started flying. Because, bugs are going to get in his eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, no, we showed up. So I've always flown on the bigger airlines.
Sure, because you're
And-
normally sane.
Normally, yeah. But we were... Anyway. And with those airlines, at the front desk where you check your bag, there are people there 24/7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize. So they do say like you have to check your bag this much before the flight, but it's usually there's a bit of leeway because there's people there still. So if you come, let's say the check-ins, I think it was 45 minutes before the flight, you have to check your bag or something, or it might be an hour. I don't know.
I know like the I don't know if this is like a hard rule, but like everyone always says like you have to be at the airport an hour before your flight.
At least
Before your flight.
for a domestic flight.
Yeah.
Domestic, yeah. Well,
International, it's like 3 hours. When I went to Tokyo, my flight was at 5 a.m. I had to be there for 3.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's way too much time, in my opinion. And that might correlate with what's about to happen. So we get there, and there's literally nobody at the front desk. And we're like, okay,
Nice.
what's going on? This is weird. And then we're just kind of like looking around, and then we asked somebody. They're like, yeah, they left. They're at the other. They're gone. I'm like, what do you mean they're gone? And they're like, yeah, they're on the other side. They're like past security.
Okay, so they don't have a crew at the desk and then another flight.
It's
crew.
the same people.
It's one
Yeah,
crew.
with the independent airlines,
Yeah.
they have like
Airlines.
one guy that does both
Yeah.
of them.
I didn't know that. So yeah, I showed up 5 minutes after they cut off the check baggages because literally I've with like the Air Canadas and the WestJets, I've shown up like no problem. Like I'll check my bag, go through security in like 10 minutes, and I'm honestly 45 minutes is too much time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because we live in a small city, small airport, blah blah blah. And I get to there's nobody there, and then like we're like, oh god, what do we do now? So then the guy at the security is like, one of you can go through, and then we'll see if they'll come back and just give you a tag for your luggage, and it'll all be okay. Spoiler: it was not okay because Shazana got all the way through there with our baby and all that stuff, and then she's like, can you like print the luggage? And they're like, no. And we're like, oh, like you sure? Like you can't just like help us out? And they're like, no.
Wow.
I know, it's super unhelpful. And then we're like, she calls me and she's like, yeah, they're not helping at all. They're not even entertaining the idea of helping. So and then we're like, I guess I'll just run my check bag to the car, grab like our toothbrushes and stuff out of it, get back to the check, like go through with my check bag. And I did that. I literally sprinted back to the car, ran back, got through security because this really helpful dude. I wish I knew his name. I'd shout him out. He was so helpful. Got me through security like express. I got to the gate, and the time that the gate closed, I think it was 4:50.
Okay.
I got there 4:51, and they were like, "Sorry, gate's closed."
My God.
That was like, what? You just like, I just watched you, like you're standing there. Nothing changed. And he's like, yeah, sorry, gate's closed. I'm like, so we can't get on? He's like, no.
Please tell me you like blew up on this guy, Mike. You had your dad energy.
I came real close, but I was just so defeated at that point. I was just like, I canceled the whole trip and like just refunded everything. That I was just like, that is
at least.
But
You
we ate the cost. We ate the cost of that ticket. But oh wow.
Oh my God.
I know.
Well, I can't see that ticket was probably not too bad, but even still, like that's awful. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'll never get a flight on Porter Air.
The funny thing is like literally last time we flew Air Canada, everyone always complains about them. But literally we told them we had like a slight inconvenience at security. And they're like, oh, that's unacceptable. And they like literally got on the phone. They were like, make sure you tell this person that that's not how we do things here.
No. Well, here's the thing. Like everybody likes to dunk on Air Canada, like you said, but like at least Air Canada has the infrastructure and the ability to call security and tell them, hey, don't do that. Like we are Air Canada.
Yeah.
Or WestJet even. Like
yeah.
They're
like
big enough
they're a big
companies.
airline. Yeah.
And like if you missed your flight with Air Canada,
They just rebooked
Okay.
you on the next one, probably.
They'll get on the next one. Porter
And
Air.
normally-
I don't know. They probably have like one flight out of there
There were two
every.
that day.
and
yeah.
they couldn't get you on the next one.
No, it was apparently fully booked, but I went and I could buy a ticket online if I chose to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Anyway,
Normally, like the big airlines will even like hold the plane for like a couple minutes if you're if, like they don't know where you are.
oh, that's that. I've been on planes that's happened.
yeah.
Where they're just like, yeah, someone's like running like a couple minutes late. We're gonna wait a few more minutes for them just in case.
And
And
it's
like you'll
5
hear on the
a.m..
PA like this is so and so and so and so
Last
your,
call.
like, last call
Yeah.
your plane has started boarding whatever.
Yeah, and like I'm someone who I don't want to inconvenience people too. So like I understand that, but like I don't know. It was very defeating. It honestly kind of worked out okay because I've like essentially got like a weekend off when I was supposed to be doing stuff instead. So it was a very restful weekend, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm
So you didn't
sure the
record
people
last
who were
weekend,
on
so-
that plane got a fun ride on Snoopy's doghouse.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
Yeah, the pilot didn't actually have like the hat was just to cover up the ears because he was actually Snoopy.
It's actually Snoopy.
Yeah.
Well, boys, let me tell you, a wonderful game just came out this week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I figured this would be just a perfect opportunity to just dive in here.
Welcome to the Game Corner.
Hey, let's talk video games, okay? Guys, this is kind of my like what's on my mind as well.
Yeah, I was going to say we didn't get to talk about what's on your mind,
Well,
but
you know,
I
it kinda
assume
works
it's,
in.
It's an overlap. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an overlapping thing. Farming Simulator 25 just came out. It just dropped, and let me tell you, it's a buggy mess. No, that's not true. That's not true. It is a little bit like it's a new game.
It just dropped.
You know?
That's what happens.
It just dropped. They're always like
Okay,
this. But it's
Hold
not
on,
unplayable.
Hold on a second here. What kind of a world are we in where we look at buggy messes and just go, yeah, I mean the game.
It's
just
not a
came out.
buggy
It's-
mess. I'm being exact. Like there's some texture issues on stuff, and it's like okay, I can live with that.
Apologist.
Yeah, but like the
No,
the
I
kind
know
of-
what you mean. I
like,
know exactly
the kind
what
of
you mean.
state we're in to look at games that have that and just be like, well, I mean, it just came out, so like.
Let me ask you something, Cole. If this came out, if this game came out in 2006,
Oh, sure.
would you be saying it's a buggy mess and we'd be tearing
It would be
apart?
unacceptable. It would be unacceptable.
Okay, that's what I'm getting. I think that's what Jay's getting at here.
Yeah.
No, I 100%
Yeah.
agree. The good
Yeah.
thing is, like, yes, that's a downside with modern gaming that we've become so
desensitized.
just desensitized and like
Mm-hmm.
become
Just
gaming
used to it.
companies'
We
big
are the beta testers. Like they just ship betas these days.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
happens.
emphasis on the beta.
Yeah, there's 3 betas on this podcast.
Yeah, but
and
like
cheaters. We're beaters.
excellent. You should.
There you go.
You should. Yeah, stick with
You
that.
should get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. But modern gaming, you know, you can get it update. Like it's every game now is a live service.
Day
game,
one patch.
essentially.
Yeah, day one patch.
Yeah.
And ultimately the issues it hasn't crashed on me, which I can say more for that with regards to it runs more stably than something like Cyberpunk,
Mm-hmm.
which I've had crashes with. So it hasn't crashed on me yet, knock on wood.
Okay.
It's mostly just textural issues, I would say, but the big things that came, because there was a lot of concerns about it basically just being a reskin of the original game or of the previous game.
When
22.
was the previous game? 2022?
Yeah, so it's been 3
this
years.
is 3 years? Okay.
Yeah. Well, this is 25, so I'm
Yeah. And presumably 22 came out in
Came out in
2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
it is more than just a reskin. In addition to the new crops that Jay has made fun of me about with
What new
farming rice.
Farming rice.
You can
Oh
farm
my
rice.
god.
Yes. But in addition to that, like there's
They
the
changed,
lighting
like,
in
the
it is
earthworm
much better.
physics?
The earth physics is
No,
different.
the earthworm
There's-
physics.
No, there are no earthworms.
Oh.
Is there worm
Bad
jiggle
game.
physics?
Yeah,
But
the worm.
There's ground deformation now, so like your tractor actually leaves like permanent tracks in the
Oh,
ground.
that's cool.
Oh,
Which is
I
cool.
like that.
Fog, like just little
Is
things.
there earth erosion?
There is not earth erosion, but like, can you see earth erosion in day-to-day life?
I don't know.
No.
I mean,
Well,
hey, you can just have like a meter that like says like Earth eroded.
Well, I mean,
Please
I guess
kill-
there kind of is. Like, you do have to do periodic plowing to bring up like soil out of the, I don't know, whatever. So I guess kind of a little bit. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to get a refresh on a game that, and the good thing about Giants Studio, the studio that does it, is they're not releasing one every year, which is just,
That is nice.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
I like that.
You know,
I like
spend
that,
your
yeah.
time on the next game. You know, release the next one in 2029. I'm happy. I don't need a new one every year. And yeah, it's full price, but like again, you don't need to buy a new one every year like Madden or FIFA or whatever they're calling FIFA now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this 2025 update come with the ability to slap a bumper sticker of your favorite political party on the back of your 1985 pickup truck?
It does not, at least not that I'm
What?
aware of.
Bad game. Bad game.
What?
That's not a realistic simulation then.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Bigly.
How many hours? Like, when did it come out? Like a couple days ago or today?
Came out Tuesday.
Okay.
So
Did you
it's
take a
been
day off for it?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yes, I did. Came out
Good.
4 days ago as of recording. I took the day off, launch day, and I took the next day off.
Nice.
And I'm sitting at I just hit 20 hours.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So
I went
that's
to
like
bed
7
on
hours a day ish.
Yeah, I went to bed on Tuesday, launch day, and my eyes were just bloodshot.
That was me when I played Metaphor.
It's like, how did this
launch.
happen? Like, I didn't know that this could happen.
You just
My eyes-
like kind of like get up and you're like, did I blink? Have I been blinking?
It's like a trance state. You're literally like, you close your eyes and they're like, it just sounds like sandpaper. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
oh,
like,
boy.
It hurts. It
and then
hurts
you have
to
like a
blink.
headache and like,
Is there
Now-
any like are there any tears in my tear ducts or did they
No,
all like
no,
dry?
there's
I'm
no
dry.
moisture left in the body. You're a husk. Do you guys, speaking on the topic of like long gaming binges, do you guys ever like when you do something like that, like say a good example for me is like when I played Spider-Man, I like basically beat it in like 1 or 2 sittings.
Mm-hmm.
So I played the heck out of the first Spider-Man there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And do you guys get this thing like when you were like in the zone like that like when you like you do take a break and you like run and quick make food, you're like Spidey stepping up the stairs, you're like, you think you're Spider-Man for a minute, or like Cole, like you're like walking around, you're like you like go to the kitchen, grab a piece of hay and stick it in your mouth or something. Like,
No,
you know what
but
I
I
mean?
do get. I know
get into
exactly
it?
what you mean. I get those feelings after a movie or something.
Yeah, you're like role
Yeah.
playing that you're like you're
it's
in the movie.
Yeah, I am the badass. I am the main character
I
from the
kind
movie.
of get it because like when I played Spider-Man, I remember like looking around being like, okay, where can I web zip to?
I could web zip that. Yeah.
Like-
I do that with Tetris in a weird way. I start like if I'm going on a Tetris binge, like I start looking at things and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how those things would piece together.
I
Okay.
think there's like a genuine psychological effect that Tetris has on you where like if you play too much Tetris, you can literally see the blocks falling in your mind.
I don't
is
see
crazy.
the blocks.
I think it's called the Tetris effect.
Yeah,
believe
but
it.
like
I believe you.
when I look at things, it's like, okay, that would stack
That would fit
there.
nicely there.
That
Yeah.
would fit. Yeah.
It's because like your brain, it gets in like the groove of like doing this thing, and then it's so hard to transition into just like, I'm just gonna put some water in a pot and make some ramen noodles.
Yeah, back to my old
Yeah.
boring life.
Yeah.
Well, it's immersion, right? Like I think
you're
that's just
immersed.
immersion gaming.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah, no,
Uh,
Mike. What I just googled it because I was curious, and like what you're describing is literally the Tetris effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens to be. I'm bad. I'm real bad for it. It's also why I'm not good with scary movies too. But yeah, Cole, that doesn't happen with your farming. You don't have the urge to go
No.
pick up a 1925 F-150
No, I
Model
just
T, I guess.
I'll stop playing and then I stand up and my
Yeah.
legs are like shaking because I haven't eaten for like 8 hours, and I've got no water in my system. Like if you cut me, it would just sand would just pour out.
Just
of me.
nothing would happen.
Do you
Yeah.
ever get like the reverse scenario where like you want to play a game, but like like the moment you start playing it, you're gonna be locked in. You don't want
Yes.
to. You don't
Yes,
want to lose
that's-
all that time.
That's me in every video game because I'm really bad. Like
You get
on a
locked
Saturday.
in.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
a Saturday, if I start playing at like 9,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, okay, I'm only gonna play till like 11.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm only gonna play till 1.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm only gonna play till 4.
Yeah.
Okay, like 5, and then I'll like stop and eat something,
Mhm.
and then it'll be like 9 p.m. and I'll be like, oh God, what have I done? I feel terrible.
Like,
And
on
that's
the-
not an exaggeration.
Mhm.
That
yeah. Oh,
happens
oh, yeah,
all
yeah,
the time.
yeah. Like, you feel like, you feel bad after. Like, you feel
Yeah.
like disgusted a little bit. You're like,
Mhm.
what have I
A little
done?
bit,
What have
yeah.
I done? Yeah,
Like
a
your
little
whole
bit of shame.
your whole day's now gone because
Yeah.
you've been
Yeah.
playing this game. And like that's kind of why I fell off Metaphor. It's not because I
Mm.
didn't like the game, but because like I kept feeling like I want to play it, but like I don't want to lose my whole day doing it.
Yeah,
That's
it'll
fair.
suck you
Yeah.
in too much.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have kind of like a similar thing where like I will like want to play a game, but now like with the baby and stuff, like I'll know, okay, I won't have enough time to like say get to a good save point or get to a good stopping point.
Mhm.
And it's just like, I know that would bug me to just like have to like, okay, I'm just going to put this down and then get back to it maybe in a bit, you know? And it's
Mhm.
just, it is
Mhm.
tough. It is tough. It's almost like a disincentive to play the game, which is why I do like turn-based RPGs, because you can kind of just like hit the stop button. You can just literally put it down. Nothing will change until you come back to it. And yeah.
And I've kind of realized like that seems like Nintendo's strategy with the Switch to
Mhm.
like release games where you can play for as long or as little as you want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true. That's what Nintendo kind of does best, is you kind of like, you can like kind of pick and choose your play style almost. They're
Especially
very-
since the Switch came out, because like
Yeah.
it just fits the model of a hybrid console so well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because all the 3DS games were kind of like designed like that, or all their mobile games where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we want it to be like, you can very easily put this down and come back very, like the barrier to entry and exit are very low.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can play as like you can get sucked into it, but like there's no like, oh, you're stuck here, you need to play a bit more to get to a good save or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like
I think
you can save and
that's
quit
just-
whenever you want.
Yeah.
just indicative of
Yeah.
handheld gaming. Which
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
I did get sucked into a game recently though, and I'm looking forward to playing a bit of it tomorrow though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I
Tell me
started a game
Mhm.
that you two gentlemen have both played, known as NieR Automata.
Ooh.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Playing
nice.
it on the Steam Deck. I just beat, I think it's the first mission, and I got zipped up to the spaceship.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you guys know what I'm talking
After-
about? You fight the big weird like chain, or the big like rotating
robot?
arm crane
Oh,
robot
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And then you guys blow yourselves up.
Yeah, you
It's the
tap your-
beginning of the game.
You
Yeah.
you gingerly touch tips of your cubes, and then you both blow up, and then you're in like a weird space station. And that's
Yeah.
literally the point when you're like allowed to save for the first time.
Mhm. Yeah. You have
Yeah.
to like, play through the first level.
Yeah, because I died in, like once in the first, like literally like in like the first 10 minutes, I think I died because I kind of underestimated the game a little bit.
Mhm.
And it was like, oh, okay. And it was like, oh, here's the credits are rolling. I'm like, what? And I was
yeah,
like,
that's the end of the game.
yeah,
That's one of
end.
the endings, I guess.
Yeah.
I never died in NieR, and I'll tell you why.
Did
Easy
you play
mode.
on easy?
Of course. And
Mhm.
auto dodge. There's a chip you
Mm.
can install that just does auto dodging.
That
in
sounds,
that game.
there's a bunch of chips that you can only install on easy mode, and that might be one of them.
That is one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it was because I have the Yorha edition, which is like the Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, I've never beaten I
NieR?
guess NieR. Like I'm
Automata.
sure I've gotten one of the endings, but like I
Mhm.
haven't gotten to like the ending that people
just-
say like, oh, I beat the game.
Get to the
Mhm.
ending I got to. Took 10
Yeah,
minutes.
I'm sure I've
Yeah.
gotten to that one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't either. I don't think I've actually beaten NieR because there's
Yeah.
like so many endings, and when
I
you
think you have
think
to
you're
beat it
done
3
the game,
times, right?
yeah, when you think
Yeah.
you're done
Essentially.
the game, all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you're gonna play as the guy, whatever his name was,
Yeah.
9S?
9S.
9S?
Yeah.
Yeah.
9S, yeah.
Nines. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you beat his, and then you're like, okay, now you're gonna play as another character who Mike doesn't know, but
Mhm.
you will soon.
Is it the girl who's in the season 2 of the anime, or are
Yeah.
they do they have genders, the cyborgs? I don't even know.
I
Is it sort
I
of
mean, if they're
spoilery?
designed to look like
Yesn't?
that, I'm assuming.
I'm gonna
Yes.
say
I
yes.
don't know. Okay,
Yes.
I don't even know. Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, NieR, great game. Well,
It
NieR
is.
Automata. There is an original NieR as well, which is fun.
yeah, NieR
I
Replicant.
hear
Yeah.
NieR Replicant is good.
It's NieR Automata is better than Replicant.
I mean, it is a like it was made after Replicant.
Yeah, it seems like the definitive version of NieR from what I can tell. And honestly, like I'm playing it on the Steam Deck and it runs at like a buttery smooth 60 frames per second on high on the Steam Deck, which I was like, this is nice. And honestly, the game looks so damn good. When did that game come out? Like
2017. I want to
Yeah.
say
that's crazy that it like looks that good for kind of an older game, honestly.
Mhm.
7 years
It's-
old at this point.
No,
Yeah.
and I mean just the game design too, like dystopian
it's so
sci-fi world, and you play as like a gothic like
Lolita?
maid outfit.
Lolita in a maid out. It's like, this is the perfect game.
This is perfect. This is
Yeah.
excellent.
And it has, like you said, like the immersion is so good in it too. Like there's like one
Mhm.
part in the first level there where like a random factory thing starts playing, like an announcement, and they're like,
Mhm.
yeah, the machines don't know what's going on anymore, so they just have like these, they play these announcements, they have no idea what they're doing, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's a cool thing to add in.
Mhm.
And then
But
like,
then as you play it, you're like, or do they?
oh, I don't know. I haven't got that far.
It's also
Very
just
cool.
kind of it's also just
Go
kind of
ahead.
cool that like a lot of things in the world aren't really like outright explained to you, and you just kind of have to piece things
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, who's the guy who did the game? Because isn't he a big guy? Isn't he a big deal?
Yoko Taro, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the moon face guy, right?
Yeah.
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 Last thing before we move on to the next to Jay's game corner, if he has one. I am a sucker. One thing that will like make or break a game for me is how fluid the controls are. Like if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like fighting the controls, bad game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
NieR is literally the opposite of that. It is so like responsive and great. It's awesome. Love it.
Well, you gotta have like
You have to.
good,
Yeah.
solid,
Yeah.
responsive controls in like a hack and slash like that. Because if you don't,
Right.
then it's like, yeah, it just doesn't work. But yeah.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
Jay, do you got anything to add to this game corner?
I haven't been playing any games lately. I'm gonna be real.
That's fine. It's okay.
that's fine.
You don't
Yeah.
have to.
I've mostly been reading manga.
What?
No way.
I know.
Okay, give
Just
us a
because
quick
like
manga.
I've been working so much that I don't really have time to sit down and play anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I hear that.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Preach. Well, that's fine. That's okay, Jay. We are reviewing a manga, so I'm sure you'll be happy later on in the episode.
We know which
But
manga Jay read, or maybe he did. Maybe he didn't.
Maybe
I
he didn't read it. I mean, there's no way to know.
It's just no way to know.
Mhm. Comment
But,
down below if you think I read this manga.
He read some manga.
I did read
Jay-
some manga.
Jay also suggested like a very like I read the first chapter of this manga that Jay was like, Cole, I think you'll like it. And Mike too. And I'm like, whoa. What was it?
Was it the Takamine-san? I can talk
Yeah.
today. Holy crap. Takamine-san? The
please put
Yes.
this on.
yeah.
Isn't that like a borderline like it's adult manga?
Oh yeah.
It's very edgy.
Yes.
I've read it all
yes.
already.
Well, I've read a few
No,
chapters,
I
but this
haven't
isn't
checked it out.
this isn't the manga corner.
So that
Next week.
recommendation was like half a joke,
Mm.
but also like Cole, you did love gushing over magical girls.
No, I think it's half a joke and half, me and Cole both are not shy about our enjoyment of ecchi as well.
Oh yeah,
Hey, man. Yeah.
we're experienced
it
weebs, yeah.
is exactly half a joke and
Yeah.
half what you said.
It's the first chapter was like Nagatoro-san cranked up to like 15.
Yeah.
I think from what I understand, the plot is he is friends with this girl and she like puts on underwear for him. I think is what I understand.
He was childhood friends with like the most popular girl in school, and she can reverse time when she takes off her underwear. So she has
That
him
is-
put on her underwear.
That
Yeah,
is
she
wildly more complex than I imagined it would be.
Yeah, she basically blackmails him into forcing him to become her closet. So he like puts her underwear back on her. And then romance happens.
Yeah, and then romance.
As it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Usually the romance comes before the underwear stuff.
Not
in
manga,
this case.
No.
Yeah.
Let's dive in here though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not into the underwear.
It's time for the mailbag.
It's mailbag time. If you got a mailbag question, you can send it over to us at our website, anipropod.com/mailbag, or on our Discord. This comes from the Discord. It's also patron priority mailbag. Wee woo wee woo. It comes from Uncle of Light. We can change him to green now. He's officially sent us in a mailbag question.
I think the Patreon thing.
The Patreon supersedes mailbag green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then. I guess I'll just die then.
I guess if Uncle wants to be green, we can make that happen too. Maybe.
Let us know.
Maybe.
Do you want to be green? You want to be blue? You want to be pink? Purple? No, you can't be pink or purple. I think that's us.
I think that's exclusive.
Pink is us, purple is mods.
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, he's got a question for us. If you were a wrestler, what would your entrance music be? Jay, you like wrestling.
I do. And you know, I was a kid when I liked wrestling, so of course
I know you've got a song.
So of course I thought of it when I was a kid.
Of course.
So I always thought like Back in Black by AC/DC would have been like a very good wrestling theme.
Okay, yeah, appropriate for you as well.
Like
wearing
so
black
I was just
today
like,
too.
Sure, Back in Black, and that was the song that always stuck in my head as like, if I were a wrestler, this would be my theme.
I feel like there's a but here though.
No,
there's
no. That's it.
It feels like you were leaving something out. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Not really. Like, I mean, obviously, as I've gotten older, the like dream of being a wrestler and the like fantasy of it died.
It's gone away.
But
yeah,
about how many years ago? I'm curious. How many years ago did this officially did the tombstone get erected on this dream?
Maybe like 2018.
So 6 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Rest in peace, Jay's.
We should really check out some of like the local wrestling in our city because I believe we have like decent local wrestling events.
My cousin hosts one.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I believe so. I've heard good things. I've seen good things on like Instagram and stuff. Seems fun.
Could be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm always down.
Mike,
I'm always down for a little fun.
That's enough beating around the bush, Mike. What's your answer here?
Yeah. I scrambled in my brain and I thought of something. I picture this.
Okay.
Light. First of all, I would definitely be a heel. Let's be real.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Lights go out.
Mm-hmm.
You hear. Darude Sandstorm starts playing, and as it does the lights come on,
yeah,
and you're looking around like what's going on? Where is he?
Yeah,
and then it starts to get but it's like it cuts a little bit at the beginning, and then it gets faster and faster, and then all of a sudden, big explosion. As soon as as soon as the beat drop comes in, I come out. And then that's my entrance. Yeah.
So where do you come out from? Do you like rocket in through the stage, or do you just walk out?
I think I run out. I run out with the explosion.
Okay.
Oh man, he's
ready.
Those are my favorite entrances when like it's this big spectacle and then the guy just runs into the ring, like just full on sprints. Yeah, and then the fight just starts.
I think
like before
that's
the first
what I mean.
bell even goes.
Yes. Like he's like, I can't wait to wrestle. I must wrestle now.
I love wrestling.
Yeah, that's me. That's who I'd be for sure.
And I know what I'm talking about though, Jay? You're the wrestling guy.
Yeah, no. Yeah. A lot of the time when people do that, it's because like the person that they're fighting is someone they're in like a very heated rivalry with.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have rivals with everyone.
So like the story dictates that like they just like get right at it, because if they stopped, it would be like, you know, oh, I hate you, and then but we're gonna wait and follow the rules.
Yeah, you were my brother, Anakin. I love you.
I think my backstory.
I hate you.
My backstory would be that like I'm just like battle crazy. Like I just want to go.
You're just crazy.
You just want to
Right,
kill
I'm just nuts.
everybody.
I'm psycho. I'm psycho Mike.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what's going on. And I'd wear the little shorts. I knew that was the next question you were going to ask. I'd wear the little like Speedo
was
that
not
like
gonna
Stone Cold
ask
Steve
that, but
Austin
okay.
wears.
The
yeah.
trunks.
Yeah, I'd
Wrestling
wear the little
trunks?
trunks. Yeah.
All right.
And that's it.
okay.
That's my whole outfit.
no
Cole, what's your
knee
entrance? No.
Well, I don't have quite as like
And
an
trunks.
elaborate-
Trunks?
an elaborate entrance as you have. I just thought there was a song I loved that was like as a teenager, which would probably be everybody's like main wrestling time, and that's
Mhm.
it's a B-side of Van Halen.
Oh.
It's called Humans Being.
That's such a
Banger.
random pick. It is a banger
Banger.
though.
Yeah, what a good song. I wish I could play it for you all right now, but you know,
Jay's looking
Okay.
it up. He'll listen to it on the break, I'm sure.
I'm
no,
not-
listen to it on the
Oh.
break.
it's good.
I love that song. It's good. It was a song released along with the movie Twister, which
Mhm.
underrated classic movie.
Sequel just
Bill
came out.
Paxton. Yeah, Twisters, and apparently it's a pretty good movie.
I've heard good things.
like it's
yeah.
actually not bad.
Produced by Hasbro.
Produced by Hasbro. They did. Oh, okay. I see. I get
There
it.
you go.
All right.
That went
yeah.
over my head too. Yeah.
Like the game Twister.
nice. Yeah. I
Yeah,
got it now.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're just dumb.
We're just done. Yeah.
We're just dumb and slow. Yeah. Humans Being. I'm gonna go with.
Honestly, I feel like Van Halen's got a lot of songs that would be bangers as
Mhm.
WWE intros for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Good
quick,
question though, Uncle of Light.
Yeah.
Quick, Mike.
Hi.
Van Halen with David Lee Roth or Van Hagar with Sammy Hagar.
Now, I know where you come down on this, and you're a psycho for coming down on the way you do. The obvious answer is David Lee Roth. If you have Van Halen, Van Halen is not. Van Halen has David Lee Roth in it. Van Hagar has Sammy Hagar, and it's worse.
No, it's way better.
Continue.
Just way better music. Sammy Hagar is a way better vocalist.
Oh, it's technically better. You're correct.
Yeah.
It is like musically better, but it's
Yeah.
much worse in vibes.
You're technically right, Cole.
The
Which is the
vibes
best
are
kind
off.
of right.
The vibes are off.
And Jay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna peg you as a Gary Sharon as the lead singer of Van Halen.
Sure.
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 Huge Gary Sharon fan.
The oft forgotten third singer of Van Halen.
I don't even know who that is. to
It's
be
like
honest with you.
he was the singer from Extreme, and after Sammy Hagar left the band, he joined them for an album, their worst album. He was really bad. Really
I
bad
believe
singer.
that. I believe that.
No, I shouldn't say. People
He's not a
say
bad
he was
singer.
actually he was very good. It's just that album that they wrote together wasn't good.
Mm.
Anyway.
that happens.
Is that
Obviously,
like
Cole's a Hagar guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Sammy Hagar. Yeah.
Is that like saying that my favorite lead singer of Queen would have been Adam Lambert?
Yes.
No, even
No.
someone even more off brand. Adam Lambert is like the logical choice for the next singer of Queen.
Mhm.
If it was like, I don't know, Adele singing for
Yeah.
Queen, like it works, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why like
Okay.
yeah, Adele would be like Sammy Hagar in Van Halen kind of. Just doesn't
Mhm.
work. I didn't expect Queen to come up on the podcast. You know what I found out today? Do you guys know who Chapel Roan is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know that she was literally inspired to change from being like a Lana Del Rey clone into what she became here because of the movie Bohemian Rhapsody? She was inspired by watching Freddie Mercury in that. Well, I mean, Remy Malek's depiction
Yeah.
of Freddie Mercury. And I was like, that's
Sure.
kind of like, that's so surreal. Like we're at the point where like people are getting inspired by biopics of Freddie Mercury.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know
That's
what
kinda
though?
cool.
That is a crazy thing that I've never heard, and I haven't heard anything that made more sense to me in my life.
I know. I saw it and I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you, Chapel Roan, underrated, you know.
Yep. HOTDOGS. I love hot dogs. They're the best.
What a song.
Everybody
Yeah.
loves Chapel Roan, right?
Yeah.
Right, Jay?
They're great.
She's great.
Yay.
It's a she. Isn't she?
Yeah.
That's her
Yeah,
name.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, you said there. Oh, never mind. I'm just dumb. Again, I'm stupid. When you said they're great, I thought you meant like a band. I didn't realize you meant
No, the vague,
the gender neutral version.
the gender neutral term.
Yeah.
Did I say they? I have no idea. To be honest with you.
No, I'm just slow and old. Okay, I'm trying to learn.
I mean, on one of my points for our upcoming manga review, I literally wrote "I'm old" as my justification for one of them. So
You did.
Yeah.
Speaking of our manga review that's coming up, why don't we take a break and then we'll come back and do that manga review?
Sure.
sounds good to me, brother.
Yeah, brother. That's a wrestling reference, Jay.
Yeah, brother.
We don't talk about him anymore.
Oh, we don't.
Oh,
Okay.
What, did he do something?
w-
Oh,
I'll tell you guys off air.
He did things. Yeah. Let's take
checks
a
out. Break.
Break.
I know the way to this second half. Welcome back. It's AniPro. Wow, here we go. We're
Whoa,
so
that
back.
Smooth.
Whoa, what a transition.
We're so back, and we're ready to review a manga.
We
you
are
kidding? Well,
so... Cole, can you bleep this out, please?
no,
Okay.
but go
Well,
ahead,
I'm just
and
gonna say it.
I'll decide.
We are...
Oh, I would have bleeped it out even if you didn't ask.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say something like completely out of pocket. Like
I know.
just-
I thought it was gonna be something so cancelable, like Jay usually says when we take our breaks. Where he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, thank God I wasn't recording when I said that, because I would
Yeah.
be fired from my job and
Yeah.
never work again."
Yeah. Well, I know you guys recorded in secret and you've posted it all over social media.
No, we haven't.
No, totally not.
But we have the footage.
Yeah,
We have the footage.
just in case,
so-
just in case.
Just in case.
By the way, Jay, I'll have
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that I did do as you requested on last week's episode. I did censor you. I did censor us with your face. So go back and find that.
did you? Oh,
That's
I can't
hilarious.
Wait. I can't wait.
I can't wait. The episode, for context, by the way, the episode hasn't dropped at this point, as of recording. So like, I'm looking forward to actually seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it.
Did you censor my face with my face?
No, it said. Go back and you'll know when you watch it. You'll know when you watch it.
Okay.
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 I don't remember what the hell we were talking about when it did, but it was like Jay, you asked, like, you're like, Cole, can you do this with this and this, and then usually I just ignore that stuff and I'm just like, I'm not doing more work than I have to. And this time I was like, you know what?
I'll throw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do more work.
I'm
than
gonna
I
do
have to.
this. Yeah,
Yeah. Was it worth it, Mike?
it was pretty funny. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worked out great.
I'm not gonna do more work unless.
Unless it's funny. Yeah.
Let's review a manga, and let me tell you guys, this is a wild one.
This is a manga of all time.
This is a manga. We're reviewing City again by Keiichi Arawai.
Hawaii.
His last name is
Keiichi
You know what?
Hawaii.
We could all agree on Keiichi, right? Like that's
Keiichi.
normal. Arawewi just doesn't feel like I don't know how
Arawi.
the Japanese words for that would be. Like usually you have a good feel.
Arawi.
I think that Arawi. Yeah, I think you're right.
So there's ara, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ara, and then we.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's, I don't know. It's
doesn't
just
roll off the tongue.
my mouth wants to say Ariwa
Yeah.
for some reason. Anyway,
Mhm.
this manga started in 2016. It is finished if you want to go and read the whole thing. If you want to know when it
finished.
ended.
It'll never
ended-
come back.
It ended if you want me to be super duper specific, it ended on
Please do.
February 4th, 2021.
At what time of day, Cole?
I would say approximately go yourself. That's what time of day it ended.
All right. Well,
Oh.
let's see how it is.
And
You're gonna have to go bleep that now, Cole. So
Well, I'm not going to bleep that one, actually. I'm going to let that one marinate and be out there in the world so everybody knows how I feel.
Wow. How bold and brave.
you should one day like the wrong word.
I
So
think
it's
I
like,
did that once.
I think
As a
I think
joke.
like
There was one I remember listening to one time where you're like I'm not gonna all of them. I'm just gonna like kind of at random. There's gonna be no logic to it or something.
Yeah, I kept beeping out random words in a sentence. I'm funny.
Did this come out after? So you alluded to this is by the author of Nichijou. This came out
That's right.
after Nichijou, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
I would call this a spiritual successor to Nichijou.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say
could
a
see
spiritual sequel.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know this. I'm looking at the Nichijou listing on AniList. It is still going. I didn't know that. He's still writing it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He just took a quick break to write an entirely different manga and then continued
Entirely
back,
different.
Different. It's basically Nichijou.
And now for something completely the same.
Yeah, we'll get into all of that.
It's like that one side story with the mangaka where it's like my thing ended. Oh, but actually continue doing it. We need you.
Exactly. Yeah. This one is difficult to explain, so I'm just going to read the synopsis and then we'll kind of try to give our 2 cents on what we think this manga is.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna piece things together with duct tape.
Sometimes it's easy. This is not an easy one to explain to somebody. Like imagine explaining this to your grandma. What this is
I
about.
will say I don't think that that's a bad thing. It's just a product of the way that this manga is. Anyway, Midori is in a bit of a bind. She's in debt and her landlady is trying to shake her down for unpaid rent. Her best friend refuses to loan her cash since she's wised up to her tricks. Maybe some bullying would help, or a bit of petty theft. Neither is sustainable.
Wow.
Maybe getting a job would settle things, but working means less time for fun and adventures in the big city. She gets a job in the first chapter. So it wasn't much of a plot thing. No. she gets a job. This is definitely a how would I describe it? Like an episode of the week kind of thing. It's very Simpsons-like in that sense.
Episodic,
everything returns.
Sure.
Everything returns to normal at the end of the chapter.
Mm-hmm. It kind of feels to me. It felt like a comic strip like Peanuts or the Funnies or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like something you'd read in like the newspaper and at the beginning of your day.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, definitely an homage, I would say, whether intentional or not, to like those, kind of those Saturday morning newspaper cartoons.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of that too is like the length of each chapter. They're only like 12 pages per chapter, and like it's so short each chapter. Like we read the first 3 volumes, and that's 39 chapters for reference, right? Like that's packed.
Those are girthy boys.
Yeah. But
lots of chapters per volume.
That synopsis you read, Cole, I feel like all of that stuff, yes, did happen, but all of that stuff is like almost utterly unimportant to this manga. Like it I feel like none of it meant anything, and the whole point is just to be bizarre.
I feel like the whole point of this manga is laugh. Please laugh. I need you to laugh right now.
Yeah. I mean, even down to like, it mentions Midori is in a bit of a bind, implying that Midori is like the main character. Mm-hmm. She really isn't. Like, there is no main character in this manga.
Yeah, it's like there's a trio, I would say.
A trio of main girls, but
I'd
then even
more
like
of an ensemble, honestly, because like
often chapters will happen where like none of the main characters are in it. Period.
Yeah.
It'll just be some random side thing about a mangaka
and his editor. Yeah,
and his editor,
which is probably about the mangaka of this manga.
Definitely meta.
It's very meta.
And that. like Cole said earlier, it is super, super episodic, and it's essentially just a gag manga. Like it's just each chapter is just an excuse to tell a punchline at the end of the chapter, and like they'll just set it up however they have to.
Yeah.
Like
So before we start getting into like bits and points and everything about the manga, why don't we I've read or I've watched Nichijou as well, so like obviously that is like the main recommendation I would say to somebody to watch this. But is there any like other things that you've seen or read that you would say if you like this, you'll like that?
I got one for sure.
I also have one.
It's one that Cole actually recommended to me, and it's Yotsuba End. I think that is, or Yotsuba To, depending on how you say it, I think. It's it's kind of in the same vibe, but that one is there's definitely like the episodic nature of it, but it's a lot slower pace. It's not as frenetic. It's not as frantic with what it's doing. It's a lot more just like, hey, here's a fun, zany story of a normal guy and his extremely weird little fun daughter. But I think people who like Nichijou, surreal is a good word. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Cole. But I think people that like Nichijou and this would probably like Yotsuba End as well.
Me.
Yeah, please animate Yotsuba End, by the way. Well, how is it not animated yet?
Yeah, I know. That'd be...
How has that not happened?
Let me just go on a tangent here. Every time I go to find a GIF for Yotsuba, which is often, because I'm looking for Yotsuba Nakano, best girl. Everything is Yotsuba, like from Yotsuba End.
Oh, the reactions are so great! Like, that anime is going to go so hard when it eventually gets animated.
When it gets animated in 2040.
Who would you want to do it?
Yeah.
Well,
KyoAni?
the obvious answer would be KyoAni for sure. Yeah, or Shaft.
Cole's two answers for everything.
I feel like, and I mean,
unironically,
JC Staff.
Not to put out some vanilla ice cream here, but I mean, I feel like Cloverworks would probably.
Cloverworks would be
Cloverworks.
Cloverworks would be a good pun too. She's a 4-leaf clover.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. We found the winner. Yeah. Anyway, Jay, you had a recommendation.
And this was a show that came out very recently. My dear friend Nokotan, I feel like would probably fit this. It's got that like absurdist humor across both of them, and they're also just like nonsensical gag manga.
Yeah,
So.
you described Nokotan as just like one big like shit post, and that's what this manga is as well.
Pretty much. I think like this one does have a more like a wider array of jokes.
Yes. It's not just haha dear.
Yeah, it's not it's not like one joke repeated until you get bored of it. But it does have like the same it has the same sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. Now, I definitely didn't get bored while reading this one.
Yeah, here's one that, and I haven't really watched it. Well, there's a few here. So Pop Team Epic.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
That's a good one?
Probably.
Kind of. Yeah.
And then the other one, what was that one? It was about the 3 girls in high school. The animation was like really pretty, but then they would do like vulgar stuff.
Asobi Asobase?
That's it. Yeah. That's the other one I was thinking of. That would be probably a recommendation. Now, that being said, I don't like either of those shows, but I like Nichijou. I don't know, something about it. Maybe it's the art style of this where it's like it's simple and cartoony, but like it's super recognizable. Like say what you will about it, but like Keiichi, whatever their last name is, like their style is so recognizable and unique to them.
Yeah,
like no one else you wouldn't confuse their style with somebody else.
No, you wouldn't.
So maybe that's what it is that I like about this. That isn't doesn't quite have what Pop Team Epic or the other one has, whatever that other one is called. Now, Mike, you did mention here on your thoughts as we kind of just jump around a little bit more. You said, and I quote, "The simplistic art style can be charming, but it makes it hard to tell the characters apart."
I did say that. Yeah,
you did say that.
Yeah.
Would you care to divulge more into that point that you brought up?
Yeah. So for me, as I was reading this, I could not keep the characters straight at all. Partially because there's a pretty broad. There's 3 of them, and the bad thing about manga is it's in black and white, so you don't get they have different hair colors, and I feel like when the anime comes up. By the way, this is getting an anime in winter 2025 next season. I think that having their hair colors to tell them apart will help me greatly, but my brain is too peanut, too small, too simple, too smooth to tell these characters apart. And I don't know if that's just the simple art style maybe, but like every panel looks nice, but I just had a hard time telling what was going on a lot of the time.
No, I get that. Like the 3 main girls definitely have same face. So you've really got to look at their hair styles to be able to tell
pretty well.
Like, one is easy to tell. She's got a ponytail.
Yeah.
That's the easiest one to tell. The other one, like the other two, kind of has shoulder length hair, but one is always smiling. So I guess that's how you tell them apart. And her name is Wako. So. Get it?
Yeah.
She's crazy.
I will say though, like, maybe there is a bit of that same face syndrome that you mentioned, Cole. But like with how the story is, in which like it's not really it's not really important to the enjoyment of this manga.
No,
And
I didn't feel like I missed a lot by not.
Yeah, like I feel
knowing
like
who
like
is who.
yeah, like the way I describe it is like when you're telling a priest and a rabbi joke, like you don't really need to like know which one's the priest and which one's the rabbi or whatever. It's just like
That's a good way to put it.
you tell the
Yeah.
joke, and these are the
Yeah.
like these are the people involved in the story, but you don't really care who they actually are.
Towards the end of our like I'd say in the third volume, I started to be able to like kind of separate their personalities a little bit. I would
Their
say.
personalities, are pretty like different. You know, Midori is like mischievous, and she's always like out for money. So that's her. She's always asking for money. Ayamu or Nikura, whatever.
She's probably the most
being called.
normal of the three. I'd say.
She's like
She's
the
the
straight
straight
man.
man.
Yeah.
yeah, she's a
she's-
straight man.
And then Wako is like just insane. She's just
She's a lunatic.
Yeah.
yeah. Like one of my favorite gags in it was during the whole treasure hunt thing that they were doing, where she goes to the temple and then she finds these water walking shoes
Yeah.
and she puts them on, and then like one panel is her like about to step in the water, and the next panel is her just like gone in the water. She's just under the water.
Didn't work at all, and then she's
Yeah.
soaked. Yeah.
Which kind of brings me to like the comedic timing sometimes in this manga works really well. Just from panel to panel. There was a few times where I found myself laughing out loud just from character reactions, stuff like that. So I found myself having more enjoyment out of the actual art in it than the storytelling. Sometimes I found it a little too, like Jay was saying earlier, like laugh. Are you laughing? Make sure that you laugh.
I think
Every panel had to be a joke almost.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, like it's firing so many jokes out that like they're doing it so at least one of them will get you, right?
Yeah, it's like Homer Simpson's makeup gun. You know, it's just poof. There's got to be one joke in there. That's,
One of these will at least make you smile. Yeah.
And like to its credit, some of them did get me. Like I think and I think like we do have overlaps, but I think we do have like different things that make us break. Like for me, the things that made me laugh were like funnily enough, both during like the soccer thing. One where like they're playing that other team and the ref keeps giving everyone a red card until eventually no one is left.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
Or like
I like the follow-up gag to that one where the guy, they're like trying to protect the one star player, and they're like, he's notoriously easy to injure, and they're like, and then he just ends up stepping.
And
I
I laughed out. I laughed out loud at in that chapter where like they're like, we went down to the river and we picked up all the little pebbles that were there, and it just shows like a giant mountain of pebbles.
Of pebbles, yeah.
It's the jokes work often, but sometimes they're just like, okay, maybe you're trying a little too hard.
Sometimes they are miss,
and I think that kind of gets like we've sort of touched on half of one of Jay's points here is like our favorite gags and like, is it funny? Do you guys, would you say on the whole this is a funny manga? Because I feel like I would say it's a funny manga, but I personally, I don't think I had an actual like laugh moment until the third volume. And I don't remember what it was that got me, to be honest with you, but I just, the humor didn't resonate with me a lot of the time. And I think it's 'cause I'm
would
old,
say,
maybe? I don't know.
Like, I know humor is subjective, but like something like this is inarguably funny in the sense that like, it's
absurd. Yeah.
And
It's
charming
absurdist
though,
humor.
like charmingly absurd.
Yeah. And the art style
Which I
helps
think-
a lot too.
Going back to the art style thing, like it's very cute. And yeah, just insane, crazy.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys have like other gags you really liked?
I liked the gag about the chef and Midori like trying to figure out how to get the crispy noodles out of that guy's bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
funny.
they just kept like tripping over themselves constantly. And then in the end, bait and switch.
It's not
it wasn't
even
his bag in the end.
Yeah.
Not to spoil it, but I mean, it's a comedy.
Yeah. It's not the point. You're not reading this.
It's a
for that,
gag manga.
Yeah.
But like I really like the humor in it. So like the absurdity in and of itself is funny to me. Where it's like, okay, the joke isn't funny, but like the situation is so outrageous that I find myself laughing at just like the joke wasn't funny, but the situation is funny.
I think the situation is part of the joke.
Where you just go
I
like,
think so too.
what? Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
In the best way.
I think for me, like, I think I'm just a little slower on the uptake. And like, I think I was just so busy trying to figure out like what's going on that I like almost the joke was lost on me. I think that's probably what happened to me.
Yeah. I feel like you lost, you were missing the forest for the trees there.
Maybe. Yeah.
I will say like I had a better time, getting through the manga like after the trio like actually meet up and all get together. Before that, you know, like it kind of just like going through the motions of everything, but then once everybody meets up, it's like, okay, now we're cooking. And that's,
I would agree with
that's
that.
when I was able to like start like really doing page turns.
I'm a little torn on that because like I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, like to me, it never really felt like there was really a point in the manga because like the story didn't really matter. It all felt like the same energy. It kind of just was for me to understand like what the manga was trying to do before I started. I hear that.
I can see that point. It's just like personally for me. And it's the same with Nichijou. Like I found myself enjoying Nichijou more towards the second half when like the groups all like, you know, if you've ever seen
Gangs all
Nichijou,
here.
you've got the three main girls and then you've got the scientist and her robot girl. And then when the robot girl goes to school, that's when it's like, okay, now like worlds are starting to collide. I find myself, I don't know, like there's just something about that payoff to me that really works with stories like this.
I think the reason I liked it when this trio got together, like it was sort of like, it felt like once they got together and like the trio was more interacting with each other, it really felt like the story simplified a little and it was less disjointed because they were all kind of involved in the same hijinks. Whereas at the like in the first couple bits, like it was just something would happen to one of them, and then the next chapter something would happen to the other, and then you kind of just like you're just kind of almost like reeling, like you're like what's even happening? I don't understand. And then they get together,
and I just like the dynamic between
the chemistry between them is good, undeniably good. Yeah, like I really liked, again going back to favorite gags. Like I really enjoyed the gag where they're like they have to like race to because someone like bets someone that they can't get somewhere in 10 minutes or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like racing to deliver it, and like the girl like goes to jump on the bike, and then you find out later that she gets distracted midair by one of the other girls, and like she just like basically face plants and like the food gets destroyed, and it's just she just kind of like grabs it and gets back on, and it's just like
you reminded me of another gag I loved, and it was when they were making that like second manga in the mangaka continuity, and like it starts out as like this very simple gag of like the girl jumping over the guy and then exploding, and then they keep expanding upon it until it's like this big Hollywood blockbuster kind of thing.
I think the line they actually say is like, we need okay, it's good, you have it, we need to make this in a world where like the explosions make sense. And then it like completely changes it to like some kind of crazy atmospheric like battle show.
And then it cuts back to the editor, and he looks up, he's like, I think we've got the Western audience like in the bag.
And then and by the end he's like this is the best thing you've ever done in your life.
And
so
it's literally the whole idea behind it was like, okay, you've got to come up with a second idea as a follow-up to your current manga. He's like, oh, well, I've got this idea of this girl who jumps, who's really good at jumping. Like, that's the idea. You know what? Like, I wrote on my like points here. I didn't care for the mangaka side plot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Changing
throwing that out.
You're changing your mind.
like-
You think-
That is funny. Yeah, I forgot.
Like,
I forgot about that.
I think that and that kind of goes hand in hand with how this manga is as a whole. Like, I don't think there's any like story bit that like is a negative per se, but that's mostly because the story doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is no story.
Yeah, I just mean like
there's the story in the sense that like Midori is working so that she can pay off the landlady who keeps trying to shake her down
but like
for
none
money.
of that matters.
But I think like all of that
yeah.
is just like a vehicle to tell the joke and make you
Yeah.
laugh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Midori is at the restaurant helping the chef and they keep spilling things into this bag.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 And I think like this is one of those ones where in the moment maybe you didn't think it was like so great, but then when you like look back on it,
Mm-hmm.
it sits fondly in your memory. Like for example, that joke about the mangaka where he like completely blew his manga out of proportion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In the moment, I was just like, oh, that's like you kind of like you don't actually you just give a little smirk or whatever. But then when you talk about it with friends who also know what you're talking about, it's like, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
And that's kind of
No,
I feel
that's-
like that's the vibe this is going for. It's
And
like, did
at
you
the
see this week's chapter? It's ridiculous.
And at the same time, I think like a lot of that has to do with the fact that like we read 39 chapters in a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this manga is meant for that. I think it's meant to be read like a chapter a day or a chapter a week.
Yeah, like a
It's-
Sunday comic, basically.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
meant to be exactly like
Yeah.
okay, hey, it's Saturday morning. Read your chapter of City.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with your breakfast and a cup of coffee, just like
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
You're sitting there, you've got your Cheerios, you're reading the
Yeah.
box, and
Mhm.
you've got the
Sliced
newspaper.
bananas, put them in
Yeah.
your Cheerios.
Oh, God. No, Mike.
Oh.
Ruined my morning immensely. I don't
Oh.
eat sliced bananas in my crunchy Cheerios.
What is wrong with you? It's delicious.
You
It's
want
delightful.
bananas in your Cheerios?
Yes, I do.
This is the most absurd thing I've heard all week, and I
Okay.
just read City.
That's pretty
True.
absurd.
That's pretty
Okay,
absurd.
I'm learning things. This is something that's been just natural to me. I've always done this.
No,
I
that's
thought it was normal. I thought it was normal. Apparently, I'm weird. Just finding
Strawberries
this
I
out
could
now.
understand
I'm weird.
because it's literally on the box. But bananas.
Bananas and
but,
strawberries.
uh,
Yeah.
Bananas and strawberries. No.
Yeah.
If-
Well, strawberries are on the box, so like I can understand strawberries.
no, you're eating Honey Nut Cheerios. Why do you
Well,
want?
honey nut Cheerios and Cheerios are different.
Well, Cheerios are disgusting. Who's
Yeah.
eating Cheerios?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so wrong.
Honey
Honestly,
nut
here-
Cheerios you just have
Who
on your
eats
own.
Cheerios?
No,
Who
here's the
eats
thing.
Cheerios?
Here's the thing. Shazana loves Cheerios, first of all.
Okay, well,
And
she's
then second of all-
insane, and I demand you divorce her immediately.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And
I will
I
not
think
take your advice.
she actually kind of has a correct take, which I've kind of agree with, is that Cheerios are actually better not as a cereal and more as like a little snack. They're better dry.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
Like trail mix with Cheerios in it. That's good stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
I-
yeah.
I think-
Cheerios are good in things.
Cheerios are
Not
a good
us.
additive, but like
Yes.
on their own,
Yeah, it's
They're
a pretty
so-
boring bowl of cereal, for
Yeah.
sure.
They're so boring. Exactly.
That's
They're
why you
just-
add bananas to them.
They're just bleh. Or you get Honey Nut Cheerios.
or you get
and
Honey
then
Nut
they're fun.
Cheerios, which is like 10, 20 times better.
It makes
They're
the
just
milk taste
Cheerios.
good even.
It
But
does.
The
Anyway,
milk is even good.
what we just talked about was pretty loosely tied together and random. Just like the plot of this thing. Which I wrote down as one of my little talking points here is that like the plot is so like loosely tied together and random that like my smooth brain had no idea what was going on for like a lot of this. And I found that as soon as like it in the ones where it like the joke was broken up over like one or two chapters, or I mean 2 or 3 chapters, like there was it was kind of the longer jokes worked a lot better for me. And I'm hoping that like as this manga goes on, there's more of that. And it kind of seems to be going that direction by the end of the 3rd volume there. It just seemed like, it was like, okay, the characters are established. We're going to tell like a joke that takes like a chapter or two. Like,
I would hope for that as well. And the reason
Yeah.
for that is not to completely go off of your point, but it kind of ties into a second one. Like, if it continues to just be like episodic, what differentiates this from Nichijou? Like, why would I read this over Nichijou, which already does that? So
Yeah.
I hope that you're right in the sense that like it starts to tell more, more plot centric, like even 2 or 3 chapters.
I would even
just
go
to
for a
differentiate.
5-chapter joke, like just a little mini arcs. I don't want it to be like a full on like there's 70-chapter shonen battle arc. Like,
it's not a deal breaker for me, but it's just
Yeah.
like from a creative standpoint, why wouldn't you want it to be different than what you've already?
I think that ties into the fact that like I don't think this is meant to be something that you binge.
No,
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
yeah,
But maybe I don't know. Maybe it turns into something where you're like, oh, I can't wait for the next chapter to tell me more joke.
mm-hmm.
The payoff for this joke is going to be insane.
Yeah, it's just gonna be great. Yeah,
I mean, maybe that's just a comedy thing. Like
Yeah,
where it's just
it could
pure
be.
comedy. Like this
Yeah.
isn't a
Mhm.
comedy action or a comedy
because
drama.
Yeah.
because I think you both are looking at it from the angle of two people who have binged this manga, right? Not having
Yep,
for sure.
read it weekly or monthly.
Mhm.
Yeah. I read it all today, to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. We were spoiling stuff for Mike earlier. And,
Yeah.
But you know what? I wouldn't change a
Spoiling.
thing.
So much spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah, it ruined the whole experience
yeah.
for Mike.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, like that's very true, Jay. But ultimately, that's all we have to go off of, right? We're
No,
reviewing it
I
based on-
agree.
Mhm.
I'm just looking at it from
that
another
other
potential
standpoint.
angle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like I kind of like bouncing off of like what we were saying, like Cole, you say here, like you wanted more of the trio doing stuff like the treasure hunt or whatever.
Mhm.
And I feel like, yeah, like that's a slightly longer, they took a chapter for them to get the treasure map, and then a chapter for them to race to go get the treasure, and then a chapter for them to like get to the end of that or whatever. And it was
Mhm.
just like, I feel like when it took its time a little more and was less frantic, it told a better joke and told a better story that was more compelling. And I feel like I hope it continues down that road.
There was more flow to the story. It
Yeah.
felt like, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not saying that the alternative is bad per se. Like, I like Nichijou as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, why wouldn't I just read Nichijou then?
So
Right?
I haven't checked out Nichijou. Is it like completely like it's
Identical.
Super similar.
super similar and like basically like every single chapter of Nichijou or episode is like its own self-contained thing, like completely.
Like,
Like
I
you said,
haven't
like-
read
Okay.
too much of the manga, but
Mhm.
like the anime is essentially like they're just little mini skits through the whole
Mm.
thing, all based around the characters, but like
Mhm.
there will be skits that have nothing to do with the main characters at all. There will be skits about like the Go Club or whatever. What's the game in this? Go. They're not playing soccer. They're playing like some other game that was invented in Nichijou. Anyway, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
I thought it was soccer. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
I thought it was
I didn't
soccer.
catch that. Yeah.
No, they called it something else. It was
Okay.
well, whatever.
Yeah.
Someone out there knows. But like there'll be like a random story involving these characters in this club,
Mhm.
or there'll all of a sudden be this like story of these people in like an airship, and then at the end of the airship story, it's absurdly connects to the people, like the main characters on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's
it's
super
pretty well the
similar, so
same. Yeah.
it's basically the same. So that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
why would I? Nichijou's already there, and
Well, I mean,
love
if,
Nichijou.
I guess if like you've read or are caught up on Nichijou and you just want more of that,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
there.
you just don't have it anymore because you're still waiting. I mean, there is.
I
one.
guess.
Yeah, I guess. It's kind of curious though, because like even from like an anime perspective, like Nichijou only did like the one season as far as I know, right? Like
Mhm.
so instead of continuing Nichijou, they're doing this different one, which is essentially just more Nichijou. It feels weird.
It's got, like, I'm pure speculation. It's got to turn into something that differentiates it from Nichijou. It has to. It has to. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope it does.
I could also see like doing a season 2 for something that's been like out for a couple of years might be a bit dissuading because it would require someone to go back and binge something that's already done.
I don't know if that's an issue. They do it all the time.
No, people drop off on second seasons all the time for stuff. So that could be, maybe that's what they did. They said, like, this is the same thing. Let's just do a season 1 of this and more people will watch it. Maybe you might have hit the nail on the head there, Jay.
Maybe, but I mean, like, I hear your argument and I see Attack on Titan. How long was the break between season 1 and season 2 of Attack on Titan?
Yeah, but I mean, you're comparing like one of the most hyped up shows in anime versus like something that like, is like beloved by people who like Nichijou, but like to people who have gotten into anime since, or
I just don't think that would be a deal breaker, especially for KyoAni. Like, if they wanted to make a second season, people would watch it. And I don't think it would hold them back from it. I don't know. Maybe I've got rose-colored glasses too much for KyoAni, and I don't think of them doing something so cynical. But
at the end of the day, they do like money. They do like money,
as we all do. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't mean to like argue. I think they still would.
No, I think it's an opinion that we can definitely have different opinions on.
Yeah. Agree to disagree, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Which one?
No.
Jay, you have here, which one should a newcomer start with? Which one do you think? Nichijou or City?
I haven't seen Nichijou, so
I guess Cole's the expert then.
Oh God.
I guess which one are you recommending to me and Jay? Which one should we check out?
Did you like this?
It's okay.
I would say go watch Nichijou. It's fun.
Yeah.
As a weekly, like as something I'd watch in like short bursts. I liked City, but like as something that like I'd binge, probably not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the anime of this is coming out. That's kind of why I picked this manga. Like maybe it would be worthwhile to do a review of Nichijou as well.
Could be. Yeah.
To get you guys in the proverbial chair and duct tape you to it. Pry your eyes open and make you watch it.
I didn't notice that like the City, the animation is actually being done by KyoAni as well.
It's KyoAni. Yeah. Like it's essentially like they're treating it essentially like a sequel. I wouldn't be surprised because KyoAni, when they did Nichijou as well, they also included skits from Helvetica. What's it called? It's another
his other one.
Helvetica
other one, I
Standard.
guess. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put in like Nichijou skits in City, the animation as well, just to kind of connect everything.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, but I would say like Nichijou is kind of the pinnacle. I enjoyed City, but Nichijou, I would say, if you want to start somewhere,
true, right?
Yeah, if you want to start somewhere, Nichijou. It's just so charming, so goofy, a lot of fun. And I mean, and it also, the other thing.
You were talking earlier about that sport that's like soccer but not. So like it also this also has jokes in it that you'd only get if you'd seen Nichijou.
Well, I mean, you guys didn't even like it's not critical.
Like no, but I mean like you like it's not like it would make or break the story, but like you'd still get like, oh, I noticed that like Captain America, like I got that
turn
reference.
into Captain America.
Yeah.
That's
good when they do that though. It adds more depth.
Not to kind of go off on Nichijou, but like the voice actors in Nichijou must have had so much fun making that show. I love Nichijou. It's so.
This just turned into a reason for Cole to talk more about Nichijou.
I think that was always the plan.
So it's always the plan.
What would you like? This is like a super unique sense of humor that this show has. Or I guess this manga, and I'm assuming Nichijou's we've said it's the same, right? Like, how would you describe that to someone? Like, what would you like call this style of joke manga?
Absurdist. I would say.
That's probably the word I would come up with as well. Like absurdist, just like off the wall slapstick, maybe.
It's like spaghetti. You're throwing it against the wall and something's got to stick.
Yeah.
Shotgun humor.
Maybe, yeah.
Airplane humor.
Airplane. Airplane. I think is a bit more whittled down. This feels like you said earlier in the review, Jay. Like it kind of feels like they're just like, here's all of the jokes.
Yeah.
Here's every joke you could think of. Where like Airplane is like they started with that, but they whittled it down. So every joke is just gold. Same with like early Simpsons as well. Like every joke in early Simpsons is just like just a perfect joke. Where this sometimes it misses. I like shotgun humor. I think I'm gonna go with that. Shotgun humor.
Absurd slapgun humor.
Absurd shotgun
Gag humor.
I guess.
Yeah.
Gag humor is maybe the word. Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting thing. I was like reading, I'm like, how would I explain this to somebody? Like, what would I say this is? And I just, I couldn't think of the term. And that's what prompted me to think of that.
I think it'll hit people differently. Like, I think, like I said, like one of my favorite jokes was just like this 2-panel thing of a girl falling in the water, but you don't see her falling in the water. You just see the before and the after. And
it's implied
to me,
falling in the water.
It's implied falling in the water. And my mind, I guess, just pieces it all together. And it's just funny. But like you guys obviously have different gags that you thought were funnier. And I think, just it scratches different itches for different peoples.
And I'd say that that's a positive. Like, I mean, it because of all the jokes it has, it's able to get many different people who have different senses of humor to appreciate it.
And one thing that's going to be great about this is the fact that like when it does come out as an anime, the reaction like GIFs are going to be great from this.
Oh yeah. I do worry that like it turns out like a Nokotan where people will be like, okay, I get it. Like a little bit.
I think it's more varied.
I think it's a bit different. Like it's the humor is much more varied than Nokotan, and also it's KyoAni, man.
Yeah.
And KyoAni could put out like Dookie, and people would still like it would still be beautifully.
Yeah,
I would still love it.
People being Cole.
Yeah. So like the $1 million question is, would City make a good anime? City would make a good anime by KyoAni for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else could make it. It's got this charm, like it's got this whimsy and this charm to it that KyoAni is just gonna nail.
That's the thing. I do feel like now that I've seen that it's literally the same studio doing it as Nichijou and stuff, I just feel like it's going to be just spiritual successor with like modern animation. And that's probably going to work. And I feel like this sense of humor here, like all of my concerns with where I couldn't tell characters apart and stuff like that will be kind of solved with the anime because it's in color and in motion. It's so much easier to follow jokes in motion. I kind of think this will actually work better as an anime, personally.
I think Nichijou works better as an anime.
It might.
Manga.
I'm a little torn on whether it works better or like about as good, because like they both like the episodic nature of it. I think like in the moment when you're watching it week by week will be good, but like I worry that it'll be like Blood Blockade Battlefront, where it's like you're watching the episodic stuff on a binge and it's just kind of like, okay, I get it. Like it's just a ton of jokes, mile a minute.
Yeah. I could hear that. I again, just personally speaking, like I binged Nichijou, and I don't know, maybe it was just because I was in that period in my anime fandom where I was just like, gimme,
early,
like
early, like
every
where like
gobbling.
I'll watch anything.
Yeah.
And
I also watched Lucky Star. That's another
there
comparable.
You go. Yeah.
Jay's favorite anime.
If that show gets an OP anywhere near Lucky Star, I'm dropping it.
Yeah, I'm
1.
in heaven. I'm in heaven.
Yeah, we're in love.
Again, KyoAni. They're just very good at like the charm. They bring the charm.
Yeah.
There is something charming about their works for sure.
And the director,
they got something.
The director of City was the assistant director for Nichijou, so like basically same
perfect.
team.
So it's literally just the spiritual successor to Nichijou.
Pretty much.
In every way.
I think he also worked on Lucky Star as well. When I was looking at him, I think he was. I think he directed a couple episodes.
Le plot thickens.
Well, let's. Why don't we give our final thoughts and our rating here? Jay looks deep in thought and research.
I know.
Mike, why don't you?
I'm just looking at the at the profile of this guy. He also directed Violet Evergarden. So I mean,
Get you someone who can do both.
Exactly.
Yeah, City was a fun gag manga that like isn't really something you'd be into for the story, but rather just if you want a good laugh. There's bound to be something in here that you'll laugh at. I'd recommend, if you want to read something like this, to read it like chapter by chapter, maybe like in the span of like a week, per volume even, just because like after a while it just kind of gets a little bit
samey,
a little bit samey, I guess. And it might turn you off. I know, like, when I started reading it, it turned me off until, like, I, like, got what it was trying to do. And then, like, I started, like, looking at the jokes and being like, okay, that's pretty funny. But, like, at the same time, I feel like if it weren't for this review, I probably would have dropped it, I think.
Okay.
Just because, like, on a binge, this doesn't really work. It's mostly for like you know, that classic morning, get a cup of coffee and breakfast and read your morning funnies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got the big newspaper.
Yeah.
Oh, that family circus.
Calvin, you and Hobbs always get me.
Oh, Dilbert.
No.
No, we don't talk about Dilbert.
No, Dilbert is never funny.
Yeah, in hindsight, especially. Mike, what are your final thoughts? And your I'm sorry, Jay, that is your rating, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't make it explicit, so that was a fair clarification.
He said it.
He said the words.
said
He
it.
said the words.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the review, he would have dropped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think this started out kind of a little too chaotic for me. It was too disjointed. I kind of had a hard time really getting into it. And while the art style like is iconic and easily recognizable, and as I said, charming, I feel like it was just such like a twist from what I normally read that it almost like it took me a bit to actually like get into it. I almost made one of my points like I thought the art style, like the art sucked in the beginning of this and it got better as it went on. And then I went back and like reread chapter 1. I was like, oh no, I was just like not used to this art. I was just not used to this style of art at all. It looks the same throughout. So I was like, oh, okay, it's a me problem. It's a me thing.
Skill issue.
Yeah, skill issue.
Massive skill issue.
The characters are kind of charming. The gags, some of them work, I would say. Some of them don't. It, like Cole alluded to, it throws a lot at the wall, and like some of it's going to stick, some of it's not going to. I'm kind of looking forward to the animated version of this because I feel like it'll solve like essentially all my small smooth brain problems. Just seeing it in pretty colors and pretty moving pictures. But as for this manga, I feel like I would have dropped it as well, just because I had such a hard time getting into volume 1. But by the end of volume 3, it was like bordering on tickling my jimmies. So I'm going to officially make my rating considering of continuation of this manga. I'm considering continuing it.
There you go.
Yeah.
It only took you 4 tries.
Yeah, I'll get there. My brain is mush. I just read the goddamn City by whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah.
Cool. Let it rip.
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of said it all, right? I love going last because I could just not say anything.
Cole can just go, ditto.
Yeah, they said it. Ditto. Yeah, let's get out.
Yeah,
no, you have to talk for at least 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Okay.
And the clock starts now.
Yeah.
Oh no, stop. You're throwing me off.
Yeah. No pressure.
Yeah, I
18,
I thoroughly, no, not thoroughly is the wrong. Thoroughly, stop it. I enjoyed this manga. I certainly enjoyed this manga. I probably am a bit higher on it than you both are. That all being said, I am certainly concerned that, like, why would I read this over something like Nichijou? I'm looking forward to the anime for the same reasons that Mike said, and also an anime like this or a manga like this being converted into anime has the benefit of curation. Right?
Yeah.
They're going to
They'll pick the
curate
good
the
gags.
best. They're going to take out the good gags and they're going to animate those. So I think it'll make an even better anime than a manga.
And like the mangaka stuff will work so well as like that post-credit scene too.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So I'm definitely looking forward to the anime. I am going to give this a hesitant consider continuing with a big asterisk, saying that I am considering continuing because I hope it becomes what I want it to become.
I might give it another volume.
Which is less Nichijou
and more
a little
its
bit
own thing.
more its own thing. Exactly. Yeah, City. Let us know what you thought of it if you read it, and let us know, Nichijou, City. Where do your alliances fall? Because it's important. I will judge you based on them. Now, Jalian, it is time for you to reveal our next manga review.
If
you would please.
Yeah, for sure. I actually kind of scrambled because I was like, I looked at the one I had planned a while ago and went like, that doesn't seem right. So I thought about it, and I found
what it was now.
Huh?
What
Tell
was
us
it?
off air
I'm
what
curious.
it was.
Yeah.
It was a manga called The Bugle Call, which
that ain't it.
doesn't sound
I hate
right.
bugles.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
bugles.
But so I found a manga that's currently publishing in Shonen Jump, which
Okay.
is the biggest shonen magazine.
Maybe
How
you've heard of it.
accessible of you. Yeah.
That like is still publishing and is like decent, like is selling as well in Japan as Undead Unlock,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
sitting at a 54% mean score on AniList.
All right.
So I want to review this because I'm very curious and I want to answer the question of how the hell is this so popular,
Okay.
despite the fact that it's only a 54%. And that manga is Nue's Exorcist.
Okay.
Jay, you've talked about this before. I feel like I remember you did recommending this one or something, or at least talking about it in our Discord.
I've talked about it in the Discord. But for a little bit of a synopsis, this is also currently the longest running Exorcist manga in Shonen Jump after Jujutsu Kaisen ended, which is weird because it's sitting at a 54%.
That's a strange statistic to have. This is the longest running Exorcist manga. Oh, okay.
Anyway, Yajima has been able to see spirits since he was small. At his new school is a room that nobody else can see, and inside is a spirit who loves playing video games. A new modern Exorcist saga now begins.
Simple.
Okay. Yeah.
Simple.
Okay.
So
I'm curious about this one. I do like me some Shonen Jump manga, so.
yeah, it's well, let's not spoil it. But
I mean it's like a year old too, so it's pretty fresh.
Yeah,
pretty fresh.
It's just over a year old, but I mean even then, like series that normally get rated this low in Shonen Jump normally get axed a lot sooner than this.
So maybe there's something in Japan the Japanese audience sees that we don't. I mean, maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it.
Maybe we'll see it. So
Maybe we'll see it.
tune in for this review so we can answer the question of why the hell is this still going on?
Why is it still going? And
what sauce does it have that we're not seeing over here?
Ranch.
incidentally, that is going to be our Christmas episode. Interesting.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's scheduled to come out on the 22nd of December.
Ooh,
It's also my birthday episode.
interesting.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
We've also got anime reviews coming up. So in a couple weeks, we're going to be reviewing Your Lie in April. Get your tissue box ready. Then we are reviewing Ponpo the Cinephile, and then Listener's Choice. So Vivi's
Nice.
Fluoride Eyes song, Serial Experiments Lane, and Texonalize. You can vote between those three. They're all cyberpunk. That's the theme. Because I was playing cyberpunk at the time. It was my turn.
Should have been farming theme.
Hey, I've got that coming up in a few months. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to another episode of AniPro. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend about us. If you really liked it, why don't you consider supporting us on Patreon like these lovely people: Mr. Family Guy 36, Elijah Wood, Brain Dead B-Dog, Peach, Frama, Kratos, Just Juzz, Mogmog, Free Rent's Feet, Antonio Bustos, now a mailbag person, Uncle of Light, and Super Mexi. By supporting us on Patreon, you get access to all sorts of perks, and it really helps out the show. We're also on social media at anipropod, and please join our Discord community to keep up with us and other listeners. Links to everything is in the description or at our website, anipropod.com. Mike, why don't you lead us in a round of bye-byes?
All right. Bye-bye.
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 Check out the YouTube video to find out why they're laughing.
Bye bye.